Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Volume 2 of Stranger Things Season 4 recently dropped on Netflix. So with all 9 episodes finally available to stream, it is time to give you my review on Stranger Things Season 4 and tell you why it is my favorite season so far. Major spoilers ahead, so if you have not seen Season 4 yet, go watch it and then come back to this video. Or watch this video anyway, I don't care. You do what you want, I don't care. But enough introduction, let's get into the review. So this is going to be kind of an overall review, but I am going to go kind of into specifics with some of the episodes. So I'll start with my overall review. First thing that I want to say is, obviously, like I said just a minute ago, that this is my favorite season so far. I loved everything about this season. One of the main reasons that I love this season so much is it is darker and scarier than any other season of the show so far. And we see that even just a couple of times throughout the very first episode. At the beginning of the first episode, we were back in 1979 at Hawkins Laboratory, and Dr. Brenner is doing lessons with 10, and then suddenly the alarm goes off, and we follow Brenner as he goes out into the hallway, and there are shots of all the kids dead. Their bones are broken, their eyes are missing, and blood is splattered all along the walls and floor of the hallway. And right off the bat, this is some of the most gruesome imagery we've gotten in this show. And then at the end of the episode, we have Chrissy's death, which is by itself one of the most violent and shocking deaths we've ever gotten in this show. So it's immediately clear that this season will be darker than ever, and this season is not holding back. And that is one of my favorite things about it. So the main thing about this season that I wanted to talk about was characters. I loved every character in this season. Almost every character. Almost. Looking at these people. Other than these people, characters were great. Loved them. Fantastic. The main thing that I loved is every character had a great interaction with another character at some point throughout the season, as always, but I just particularly loved the characters' interactions in this season, specifically Will and Mike, Eddie and Dustin, Dustin and Steve, Nancy and Steve, Max and Lucas. Even Jason has a crazy intense moment with Nancy near the end of the season. Just all the characters interact with each other so well, and it makes this season so enjoyable to watch. Watching these characters laugh with each other, cry with each other, I just love seeing the characters interact with each other. It's always so fun to watch. So let's get into some specifics. Max was an amazing character this season. Max felt more like a main character this season than in seasons 2 and 3, particularly because she was being hunted by Vecna. So she was marked by Vecna's curse, as they say. And Vecna is just basically spending the entire season hunting her down, trying to kill her to claim her as his next victim. She has one of the best moments, I think, in the show with her first encounter with Vecna at Billy's graveyard. Billy's gravestone. Billy's grave. I'll just say that. Billy's grave. that's a great moment. Her first encounter with Vecna, loved by almost everybody. One of the best moments in the season, like I said. So Max was great. Mike, Lucas, Dustin, everyone else continues to be a great character. Robin continues to be one of my favorite characters. Still, like, hilarious. She has some really good moments throughout the season. And Will, though still kind of getting the short end of the stick, has some great moments in this season. Will has always felt like a sideline character because he really always has been a sideline character. He's never really had much to do. He says it himself in chapter 2 of this season that he was a third wheel all day while Mike and 11 were having fun. He felt really left out, and we learn in this season is mainly because he has feelings for Mike. So on the way to finding 11, Mike opens up, showing Mike the painting they had been working on, which depicts the kids in armor and holding shields and swords, taking on a three-headed dragon from D&D, and Mike's coat of arms on his shield is a heart. Will describes it as that's what holds the team together, is heart, which is basically Will's way of telling Mike that he's gay and that he has feelings for him. So fans have been skeptical about that since like season 3. Just there's been a lot of speculation that Will might be gay. So it's kind of nice to finally have some clarity on that in this season. It may go even further into that in season 5. We'll have to wait and find out. But for now, I think it's a great moment. And he has that moment, and then he has the moment later with Jonathan at the Surfer Boy pizza place, opening up about how he'll always be there for Jonathan and how Jonathan will always be there for him. So just Will has some great moments in this season. I think he's a lot better in this season than he has been in other seasons. Other than this season, really the only time he's ever really felt like a main character was season 2 when part of the Mind Flayer was living in him. But yeah, this season has some great moments for him. And 11 continues to shine in this season as a fan favorite, one of my favorite characters, always has been, probably always will be. Brenner and Owen's trying to help her get her powers back, and with her kind of retracing her steps through her memories, she has some great moments with one and with the other kids, and even just with Brenner himself throughout the season. I continue to love 11. But, of course, the character that absolutely steals the show, steals every scene that he's in, is Eddie Munson. I freaking love Eddie. He is one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite in the entire show. I am so disappointed that he didn't make it out of this season. He is wild, he's crazy, he's funny. He's just the guy that everybody loves and wants to be friends with. And that's what makes him such an amazing character. He is who he is, and he doesn't care. He doesn't give a crap. He's a metalhead. He plays electric guitar. He has his own D&D club. He's wild. He's crazy at sometimes, but he doesn't care, no matter what anybody says. That's what makes people love him. That's why he's so enjoyable. That's why he's so lovable. He doesn't care what anybody else thinks. If people have a problem with the way that he is, then they can just get lost. So, as disappointing as it was that Eddie did not make it out of this season, he left an amazing impression on every single viewer, and I don't think anybody is going to be forgetting him anytime soon. Argyle is also a great addition to the cast. He's funny, but he's also very helpful at times when he comes up with the idea to have Elle use the pizza dough freezer as a sensory deprivation tank so that she can go into Max's mind and stop Vecna from killing her. Um, he's just he's another character that's just um, he's crazy, he's funny, but he's helpful. He has his moments where he is very helpful. When they're trying to find 11, he notices the tracks in the dirt, which leads them to the conclusion that the military is after 11. He has a lot of great moments throughout the season. Like he has his weird moments. Sometimes he might be a little bit annoying, a little bit weird, but for the most part, I had a lot of fun with him. I thought he was funny, which was the point. So he was also a good addition. And another great character that I really liked was Enzo, the guard in Russia trying to help Hopper escape. He and Hopper have a lot of great moments throughout the season in Russia, in Kamchatka, at the prison. He's secretly trying to help Hopper escape the prison, but also making it look like he's not helping him at all. Their chemistry together and their interactions together are really good throughout the season, which makes him one of my favorite characters. And also on that note, Hopper, it continues to be a fan favorite throughout this season. He has a lot of great moments, including the Demogorgon battle. When one of the Russians Demogorgons gets loose in the pit, or doesn't get loose, they let it go. But they have that fight where even the Demogorgon in this season is way more violent than ever, biting off people's heads. You can see like the blood is dripping off its face. But that's a great moment when he chops off the Demogorgon's head in the finale. That's a fantastic moment. And the reunion with him and Joyce is great. So just Enzo ends up being one of my favorite characters, and he also has a lot of great stand-up moments to Yuri, the Russian that Joyce and Murray go to help to go get Hopper out of Russia. But Yuri is just, he doesn't care if they get to Russia. He doesn't care if they find Hopper. He's just obsessed with getting rich in the most efficient, pretty much most lazy way possible, easiest for him way possible. So, he's quite annoying. Murray says it himself at the beginning that he doesn't like him. I kind of feel that way a couple of times throughout the season. I don't like him. He's just a time waster. He's just, whatever. So Enzo is a great addition as well. That's my point. Now, of course, we cannot talk about characters without mentioning the villain of this season, Vecna. I love Vecna. I love it. I love him. Not necessarily that he's a good person, just that I love his character, and I think he's an amazing villain. He is my favorite villain we've ever gotten in this season, in this show, for a couple different reasons. My number one is that Vecna actually has a motive in this season. The past 3 seasons, it hasn't really felt like the villain actually has a motive. In season 1, we had Brenner, but that's about it. The Demogorgon itself didn't necessarily have an actual motive. And I know you're going to say that the Mind Flayer was technically created by Vecna, or controlled by Vecna, and therefore it was his motive all along. But we didn't know that then, so it doesn't count. I'm not counting it. My point is, the past 3 seasons, there wasn't really any motive, there wasn't any pattern. Season 2, the Mind Flayer attached himself to Will, and that was about it. We had demo dogs to look after and defeat and all that stuff. But this season, season 4, Vecna has a true motive. Destroy mankind. Cool. Typical villain scheme. Destroying mankind because a reason. So Vecna's goal is to destroy mankind because he thinks humans are a pest, basically. So that's just one thing. Like he has a motive. He knows his goals. He needs his clock chimes 4 times when he attacks a student. He needs 4 kills to open up 4 gates to basically destroy Hawkins. So throughout the season, we see his various kills. Episode 1, he kills cheerleader Chrissy Cunningham. Episode 2, he kills Fred Benson, which is a fellow worker of Nancy's. And episode 5, he kills Patrick McKinney, one of the basketball players that was looking for Eddie along with Jason and the others. Vecna, the kids put the pieces together, and I mean, kind of, not really. Anyway, Vecna is basically attacking and targeting teenagers that have extreme trauma or guilt. Chrissy had trauma over an abusive mother. Fred had guilt over a fatal car accident that killed a kid. And Patrick, we don't really know. We never really learn why exactly Vecna targets Patrick and really what his reason to be targeted is. All we know is it was bad enough for Vecna to hunt him down. So we can only assume that it was kind of bad. But that's one reason that I like Vecna as a villain is he has an objective, he has a motive, which makes him an intriguing character and an enticing character. A good villain is, like every good villain has a motive, pretty much. So he has his motive, which in my opinion makes him a great villain. Just also, his attention to detail on his character, which isn't through no fault of his own, but just the attention to detail on his character, like one arm is longer than the other, the hand / arm that he uses to like do whatever he does to his victims is longer than the other, and the tendrils or vines, whatever they are, that connect his neck to his back, you can see them moving and kind of slithering and squirming like snakes almost. And the look of Vecna by itself is, to me, kind of reminiscent of the look of Freddy Krueger. His extra long fingers on his left arm are kind of remind me of Freddy's, like his razor knife fingers that Freddy Krueger is famous for, and the scarring and burns on Vecna's face is kind of reminiscent of Freddy Krueger's face. Dustin makes this same connection later in the season when he connects when he compares Vecna's way of killing his victims to Freddy Krueger's, in which Freddy Krueger goes into kids' spines while they are sleeping and kills them in their sleep, while Vecna kind of does the same thing, only they don't have to be sleeping. He just goes into their mind and kills them, putting them in a sort of trance. Stay hydrated. While Vecna is a great villain, Jamie Campbell Bower does a fantastic job playing the role as Henry /1. Um, he is creepy. He's a little creepy. He's almost too clean and nice with his all white outfit with a black belt and black shoes. Um, he looks almost too clean, too perfect, which in and of itself makes him a little creepy. Um, but he is a great character. Obviously, he turns out to be the villain, but I like his character throughout the season with him. Um, when Eleven is retracing her steps back through her memories at Hawkins' lab to get her powers back, he gives her great advice. He has some great moments with her, like when she's at the Plinko board trying to get the puck in three. He tells Eleven the story of one who Eleven had been told by Papa didn't exist, but Henry tells her that he does exist and he was also quite powerful. Um, Giving her advice that one found his power in a memory that makes him sad, both sad and angry, which Eleven uses to her advantage multiple times throughout the season. Um, and then just the later in chapter 7, the massacre at Hawkins' lab, 11 removes the chip in his neck that Brenner put there to stop him from using his abilities, because only Brenner knew his potential and how powerful he really was and how dangerous he could be. 11 doesn't know that. She removes the chip, which leads to one of the biggest reveals in the season. One of my favorite moments in the season. Henry is one. He has been one the entire time. He was the first student that Brenner worked on and experimented with and studied, which then started his whole thing where he took a bunch of other kids. But Henry is one, and the first time we see him use the powers when he lifts up the guards and pushes them against the wall, it is one of the most mind-blowing reveals in the entire season. I had no idea it was coming. I was blown away. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one. We learned that Henry is one, and we learned that he is also Henry Creel, the son of Victor Creel, who Nancy and Robin had visited earlier in the season. We learned that it was him that killed his mother and sister all those years ago. The father was blamed for it. And he went to prison. It's a mind-blowing reveal. Jamie Campbell Bower does a fantastic job, and I really like him as a character. It took a long way to get there, but my point is I loved his character, and he does a great job. Okay, I've spent a lot of time talking about characters, so really quickly, I'm just going to go through a couple more things before I wrap up this review. So the next thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite moments in this season, maybe my favorite moment in the entire season, and it's in the season finale, chapter 9, the piggyback, and it's basically the group has a whole plan to lure Vecna to Max so that he's basically defenseless and they can kill him. So Dustin and Eddie's plan, they have the job of creating a distraction. They need to create a distraction to lure the demo bats, the bats, away from the Creel house so that they can go inside and kill Vecna, basically. So Eddie, as a total metalhead, pulls out his electric guitar and he plays on the electric guitar to create a diversion for the bats. And he could not have picked a better song. Metallica's Master of Puppets. It is a fantastic scene. We've been seeing clips and glimpses of this scene ever since the first trailer for this season of Eddie playing on top of his trailer in the Upside Down. And when I tell you that this was one of my most anticipated scenes of the season, I mean it. Like, this may have been my most anticipated scene, and it delivered. It did not disappoint at all. I was very curious what song it was going to be, if it even was going to be a specific song, if it was just going to be jamming out on the guitar. But holy crap, did they pick an amazing song. Metallica's Master of Puppets, a perfect song for the absolute chaos going on in the background. And Eddie just gets to do what he loves, play on his guitar. We get to see him just rock out in all of his glory. And he has one last amazing moment before his unfortunate death. But I truly loved this scene. It is one of the scenes that I've rewatched the most since season 4 came out, and I will probably watch it a lot more in the future. I can't say it enough. I loved this scene. So the last thing in this season that I want to talk about is my one negative on the season, and that is the bullies. And the bullies in this season are so over the top, so just mean, terrible for absolutely no reason. I'm specifically talking about Angela and Jason. First, let's start with Angela. She's mean. She's popular and has friends, so she automatically thinks she can do whatever she wants. Because that's what always happens in these types of things. The popular girl always thinks she can be the bully and not get away with it, and get away with it. And then in episode 2, I don't know if it was episode 2 or 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. Anyway, early in the season, 11 had made a visual aid for a project at school that depicted Hopper's cabin, and right out the gate, Angela is just making fun of her for, like, potentially not following the rules of the assignment, but the teacher doesn't say anything. She just says, now be quiet, just let 11 do her project, whatever. And then a little while later, Angela trips 11 on purpose, making her drop her visual aid, and then one of Angela's friends steps on it, smashing it, which makes 11 want to lash out. She tries to hold out her hand to make Angela go flying, but she doesn't have her powers, thank God. Not thank God, but thank God, because that would have been the second bloodbath in this season so far. So that just gives Angela even more of a reason to make fun of her. She's looking like she's not looking too good in front of the school, watching her. And then at the roller rink, she makes fun. She gets 11 out into the middle of the court, and a bunch of kids are circling her, laughing at her, heckling her, and one of Angela's friends comes in with 11's milkshake that she had been drinking and throws it all over her dress, which just absolutely humiliating 11 in front of everyone, which leads 11 to lash out again, and she takes a roller skate and smacks Angela in the face with it, breaking her nose, blood pouring down her face, which is one of the most satisfying moments in this season. Just so great. Seeing the bully get what they deserve is always amazing to watch. But Angela is just absolutely mean and a straight up bully for absolutely no reason, which just makes her an insufferable character. I hate her. I absolutely hate her. I'm probably not the only one. Also, fun fact, did you know that that was an actual milkshake that they threw on Eleven's dress in episode 2 because it was the only thing that looked most realistic? Well, now you do. So now talking about Jason, for a little bit of a refresher, Chrissy Cunningham, the cheerleader that got killed at the end of episode 1, was Jason's girlfriend, and Jason really wasn't ever a bully. He really wasn't. He was just upset about his dead girlfriend. So when he finds out that Chrissy died, Chrissy went with Eddie. Excuse me. Chrissy went with Eddie to his trailer to buy drugs because Vecna was forcing her to see visions, and she thought drugs would help with that. So she went with Eddie to buy drugs at his trailer, and unfortunately, Eddie's trailer is also where Chrissy gets killed. So Eddie is automatically blamed for her death. He's wanted for murder, and when Jason finds out, he just automatically assumes the worst. He assumes Eddie killed her. He's responsible, and he basically wants to hunt him down and kill him, basically. But it's so over the top. Instead of trying to have a nice, friendly talk with Eddie, which he kind of does, trying to find his band, but even that ends horribly. When he instead of trying to have a nice, friendly talk with Eddie, he just automatically assumes the worst. He buys a gun and ends up pointing the gun at Lucas. Jason is I don't know. I get it. I don't get it. Doesn't matter. He's upset. He wants to lash out, but that is my one negative on this season, is that the bullies are just, for no reason, so mean, so just insufferable. Bullies suck. But other than the bullies, other than that one negative, I had an absolute blast with this season. It had no shortage of emotion, mind-blowing reveals, and everything else we absolutely love about this show, that I absolutely love about this show. As of right now, it looks like season 5 is going to hit Netflix sometime in 2024. I'm very excited for that. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, and I'm very interested to see what is in store for these characters' futures. This season was practically Infinity War, and it looks like season 5 is going to be Endgame. That's kind of how it's looking like it's going to go, with the Upside Down kind of leaking into Hawkins at the very end. I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, and when that happens, I will be here to do a review on it. But in the meantime, if you liked this review, please consider subscribing. I have a lot more videos just like it coming very soon. Subscribe, like, share this video with your friends and family, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. What did you think of season 4? Let me know down in the comments, and what was your favorite moment of season 4? Until next time, goodbye.